out there, legal warriors, jury duty scams and missed court date scams. Those are two big scams that are fooling people right now. And I don't want you to be a victim to these very realistic scams. So if you're interested in protecting yourself, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington state for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find these useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. There were some articles published recently about jury duty scams in Washington state, and in fact, I even got a phone call from somebody asking me as a major law firm in Washington state whether or not what they were hearing on the phone was true. And as far as the jury duty scam goes, it goes something like this. You get a phone call from someone purporting to be from law enforcement or supposedly from the court, but more often law enforcement, and they will be telling you that you missed a jury duty summons and that because you missed jury duty, you are now in trouble. And they might say there's a warrant for your arrest, or they're going to file a criminal charge on you. There's different variables, but they let you know to make up for it and to get out of this problem, you can go ahead and guess what? Pay them some money. And that might vary from $500 to more than $1,000. It can be any amount of money that that person who's purporting to be law enforcement says. And if you fall for it, you give them your credit card right there on the phone. They have you do some type of Bitcoin transaction, and there you go. You're not going to get that money back. And I've heard of some cases where after you pay the first time, they may hit you up again for another time because, of course, once a sucker, always a sucker from the eyes of the scammer. And so how does it really work? How does a jury duty summons really work? Would this ever happen? No, it would not happen. This is not real. In Washington state, if you're going to get a summons for jury duty, it's going to be obviously clearly look like a government document, and it's going to tell you what you need to do. You're going to be able to fill out something to try to get out of jury duty, to say you're not eligible for all types of different reasons, hardship, disability, maybe you work in the legal system. And there's usually going to be a phone number, at least on a smaller court, where they want you to call to see if you even need to come in for jury duty, because most courts, besides big superior courts, most courts don't have trials every jury term, right? So if you miss jury duty in real life, what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens if you miss jury duty. You might get summonsed again for jury duty. You might get put back in the pile to get summonsed again for jury duty. But in my 30 years of doing this, I've never seen anybody have anything negative happen to them from missing jury duty. And I'm talking about Washington state and in my experience. But certainly no one is going to be asking for money. So Lance, how could someone fall for this scam? Couldn't someone tell that it's not a real police department, a real court calling? Well, you would think so, but these scammers are sophisticated. Many of us may know, but some of you may not, that you can actually spoof phone numbers, right? In other words, make it look like you're calling from another number. And you've heard me talk about other scam warnings here on this channel before. I've heard plenty of cases recently in my office where it's a law enforcement number has been calling somebody wanting money for some purported crime. Not the jury duty scam, but it's the same idea. They're going to make it look like it's calling from a number that you can find publicly on the internet. It's often going to match a name of someone that's available on the internet that looks like they're part of this process. But if you were to call that number, they would never know anything about you. One of the scams that recently happened, which I dealt with, the phone number was on the internet about a supposed police officer trying to threaten a client of mine for money for a crime they never committed. And when I called that number, that was a disconnected number. The scammer didn't even check to see if that number was still good. Because again, they're just trying to scare someone in the moment to get them to pay. So if someone gets a hold of you looking for money for missing jury duty, number one thing, did I miss jury duty? You probably didn't because you would have seen the summons. Number two, know that it's just not how it works. You should block the number. You should hang up. You could get a hold of law enforcement. You can get a hold of the court if you want to let them know this is going on so they can warn other people, but you don't have anything to worry about. Now, a similar scam that's out there right now is for missing a court date. And I'm not sure if the scammers are targeting people that actually missed court dates, but I think they're just going with anybody because you might never, you might believe you had a court date, even though you never got a summons, because people sort of trust the government when you hear from the court saying, hey, you missed court, or hear from law enforcement saying, hey, you missed court. It's the same type of idea. Recently, a lot of residents of Oregon were getting calls from a Washington court telling them that they had missed court and telling them that to avoid a warrant that they needed to pay some money, directly to whoever this scammer was to avoid getting arrested. And what happens if you really miss court? Does the court call you to tell you miss court? Does a law enforcement agency call you to tell you miss court? No, they don't. There are no phone calls going out to people by the court or by a sheriff's office or a police office to tell you miss court. When you miss court, there's eventually going to be a warrant issued for someone's arrest, at least if it's a criminal matter, but that goes into a system, and it's not a phone call-based system. Now, you could get a call from a public defender or an attorney if you missed a court date. Some courts, public defenders do that to help sort of get things cleared up for people, but you're not going to get a phone call from the court or from law enforcement. So if you hear from those people, it's likely a scam, especially if they're asking for money. Now, courts change their procedures. If you ever get a call from court saying you missed a court date, thank them for the information, ask them for the case number, and then get a hold of a real defense attorney, and they'll be able to look into their system to see if such a case number exists, let you know if it's real, and make some phone calls to let you know if it's real. So I don't want you to fall victim to that scam either. So bottom line, like in most scams, whenever someone is asking for money over the phone out of the blue, that's almost always going to be a scam. And if you've lived a very, sheltered or clean or lawful life and you have no experience with the system or law enforcement, those are the type of people that can fall prey to this because they don't know how it really works. If you have no exposure to it, maybe that is how it works, is what you think. It is not. So stay safe. And if you have this type of problem, make sure you reach out to somebody in the legal system that you find, not that finds you, so they can try to set the record straight for you. So if you found this video useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see it. More people won't get scammed. More importantly, if you have a legal problem in Washington State, a criminal matter, restraining order matter, or you think you're getting scammed, feel free to give my office a call. We get on board. We'll listen to what happened. We'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.